God's peace, the God of peace, will crush Satan under your feet soon. We talk about warfare. That's a perfect verse, isn't it? Yeah. It's kind of late here, but a little bit coffee, it's good. I'm talking to you about understanding the conflict in Christian life, the daily warfare and problems. And we talked about the warfare paradigm. When you see that everything that's not good, it's coming from an enemy, and you have to act against it. And the problem I found was it gets you out of rest way too many times. And it's like you go on the street, you don't know what's coming around the corner, and what pain is gonna be, what kid is gonna get sick, what problems is gonna be at work, or you can have at work, or every day kind of. And yes, you learn and you're trained in all this, but rest is important, right? So today we talk about the blueprint paradigm. Not sure if you guys read anything about St. Augustine, but he started this understanding, the fact that all things are under God's control. No matter what anyone is doing, even the enemy, the will of God will prevail. Basically, your battle is not with the enemy, but your battle is to accept God's will and to comply with what is happening. Maybe I'm not saying that much, I'm not a theologian, how you say it. So there are lots of things I like about this paradigm. Okay, and one place that's always quoted, and we love that, it's Romans 8:28. Right? And we know that all things work together for good to those who love God. Work together for good. All things. To those who are called according to His purpose, for whom He foreknew, He also predestined to be conformed to the image of His Son, that He might be the firstborn among many brethren. Moreover, whom He predestined, this He also called. Whom He called, this He also justified. And whom He justified, this He also glorified. So it's kind of an interesting perspective from how he sees it, that everything is finished, everything is done. Do you see that? It's predestined to be like him. So that's the end. So you'll get there. And of course there are lots of extremes with predestination and stuff, but that's not what I want to talk about. In this understanding, the blueprint paradigm, the being spiritually mature is not defined by your capacity of being ready and prepared and fighting and overcoming, but the level of internal submission to God's will. even if you don't understand it. Most of the times you don't, at least in religion. And it's talking about the fact that God is all powerful and all knowing. Nothing is beyond him. Therefore, he is in control over everything, good and bad. Lots of places in the Old Testament, especially the book of Job, and other places, God makes the wound, God heals it. I bring the calamity, I bring the happiness, or the good and the bad. And so lots of things in the Old Testament. And of course the thorn in the flesh for Apostle Paul, or a couple of places where he left some of his partners sick in a place. It's like, well, God is in control over that. You don't have to see sickness as an enemy. God can use sickness to prepare you, to teach you something, right? We all heard that, right? And some of us, we don't want to hear it again. But I said there are some things I like about that, because I love Romans 8:28. I love that place where he works all things together. I like to know that my Father has all this under control, and he has the last word. He is God beyond anything that I understand, don't understand. I love that. It's so resting thought. But I have some questions about if you just take this blueprint paradigm and understanding, right? What about your will? Is the Lord just kind of breaking your will through pain and problems and situations so he can do whatever he wants with you? I don't believe that. See, when someone is broken, unless there is life on the inside, ends up in depression. It's just a broken soul. There is nothing to come through that breaking. You understand? So it's not just breaking for the sake of breaking. No. I believe that he wants to intertwine his will with your will until they become one. His will, your will, is the same will, right? It's not like breaking and now the master, it's commanding, and everything you say, yes, Lord, yes, Lord, yes, Lord, right? Rather than, I love, I love to follow you. Remember that situation with the slave in Israel. I love that. So the Jubilee year came, and if the slave was from the Israelites, they had to submit because they didn't have money or something. So they would serve you as a slave. So the year of Jubilee, you had to let them go. No question asked. Okay? But if they wanted to stay in your house and serve you, they would become your servants in love. They would be willing to serve, not forced into serve. And then, you would pierce their ears and would show that, yes, this is exactly what I want to, that's where I want to be. I want to serve you out of love. I love to be here. Yeah, so this is how he does in works on the will. It's not like all kind of circumstances to break you until you're like, okay, God, do whatever I want, I'm not gonna. No. you will His will. You understand? You will His will. Some people are mentioning Jesus, that Jesus was praying, Father, your will be done. But see, he was not praying that because God broke his will and now the third time is like, okay, I have nothing else. No. Jesus had a strong will and he submitted. He willed to submit to the Father. You understand? And he knew what it is. Most of the times when people finish their prayers, God's will be done, they have no idea. You know, they come and pray for the sickness or something. So yeah, we can pray, but we don't know God's will. So God's will be done. They don't know it. Jesus knew exactly when he prayed. He knew the will of the Father because he asked him about that cup. It says, your will be done. It's like, yes, I'll take it. I'm submitting my will. It takes the will of a son of God to be able to submit to the will of God. Not the finished, broken, no good will so God can just fill it in. That's not it. So there are some places in the scripture that I love. Colossians 1:9. For this reason we also, since the day we heard it, do not cease to pray for you and to ask that you may be filled, listen to this, with the knowledge of his will. How about your will? Your will be done, Lord. I don't know. Yeah. In all wisdom and spiritual understanding. Knowledge of his will. You submit to a will that you know. You willingly submit. You see that? It's not that blueprint that, whatever happens, it's God's will and he's gonna win, right? So 1 Corinthians 15, that's a key place where it talks about the lordship of Jesus. Okay, 1 Corinthians 15:24. Then comes the end when he, Jesus, delivers the kingdom to God the Father. Listen, when he puts an end to all rule and all authority and power, when he puts an end to that. For he must reign until he has put all enemies under his feet. The last enemy that will be destroyed is that. He reigns. He is on the throne, absolutely, but not yet. There is an until, right? So it has to be something that has this blueprint, but also the warfare, because there is an until. Until all the enemies are under his feet. Yeah. He is in charge. He is the King of Kings, but not in control over everything that happens, especially in the mid-heaven. And I think that's where the church, he's showing his amazing wisdom through the church to all the principalities in the mid-heaven, right? Through you and me. He's demonstrating something amazing, right? Until, yes, we know the end because we read the end of the book. We know he wins. Absolutely. He already. But he is building you up. He is teaching you how to take over something that belongs to him already. And this is where you learn how to battle. I think I hear the word of wisdom that says it is better the end of a matter than the beginning of it. Right? I love the overall blueprint, we're predestined, but also I understand the importance of the warfare. And I think after this, you'll have things to think about. And maybe there are some things that you have to put in a different place, start thinking in a different way, okay? And I will show you, in my understanding, a better way, in a better paradigm. It's the overcomer paradigm. We'll see you soon. Bless you.